Hey y'all, it's Heather, and I have the new Charlotte Tilbury holiday palette. We've got to talk about it. This is the limited edition Pillow Talk Beautyverse Love Palette from Charlotte Tilbury. We have this beautiful gold studded packaging, super cute, super luxe. And then of course we have a Pillow Talk color story inside. Charlotte Tilbury loves her Pillow Talk, and we have 3 different formulas in here. I'm gonna be doing 5 looks for you. I've been testing and trying this palette for a while now. I really wanted to come through, give you a lot of looks so that you could see if this is a limited edition palette that is for you, or if you want to shop your stash. So I'm going to do some live swatches for you, and we'll talk about these formulas. I'm just going to swatch right here on my hand so that you can see. And all 3 shades on the top row are her Future Matte formula. These are a cream to powder formula. I read that and I immediately thought of the Natasha Denona cream to powder formula. I would say these are different. The Natasha Denona cream to powder is one of my favorite formulas. It's so great for layering and building and blending. These from Charlotte Tilbury are a little more silky and smooth. I feel like they're not as grippy. So if you don't like the Natasha Denona cream to powder formula because you feel like it's a little hard to work with, I do feel like these are easier to work with, although my personal preference is the Natasha Denona because when I use that formula, I really like to build and layer and things like that, whereas these I feel like are better kind of just on their own and maybe lightly blended, but not necessarily used to really pack things on top unless you're using like a shimmer or a topper. We've got 2 more of those Future Matte shades, so I'm going to swatch those right there. And you can see Charlotte Tilbury, she gave us some beautiful kind of mid-tone pinks, but I really like the intensity of the red and the addition of this kind of brown black shade. There is one shade in here that is called a Party Topper shade. So you can see that's very, very, very sparkly and beautiful. Charlotte just says this shade reflects the light. The last 3 shades in the palette are a Crystal Glow is what she's calling the formula, and she does say there are duochrome pearls. I know pearls have been like a big thing ever since Patrick Ta talked about it, so I thought that was interesting that Charlotte has some pearls in here. I'm gonna swatch one of those shades right there. You can see how beautiful that is, and then we've just got 2 more. We'll put this one right here. Look at that pigment. I was impressed. I was impressed by Charlotte Tilbury for sure. I'm gonna put this other shade right here. Very pretty, definitely does catch the light. And you know, you're gonna see the looks, but I think this palette, it's performing beautifully. If you like these types of shades, if you like these types of formulas, I'm going to show you how to use it all, but I also want to show you some alternatives, some comparisons. Here it is next to Sigma's Electric Pink. Now with these comparisons that I'm showing you, I'm not saying they're dupes. I don't think the comparisons I'm showing you are formula dupes for Charlotte Tilbury. I'm just trying to give you some options in case you were curious like how similar it is to some other palettes. So you can see the Electric Pink from Sigma is a lot more cool in tone than the Charlotte Tilbury, but I thought this was a good comparison because you do have those dark shades. You do have a mix of formulas. We have this duochrome shade in the Sigma. We have some sparkly shades, some more smooth shimmers. We have a variation in the pink shades. This shade right here also kind of give you the similar vibes here, but we do have some like lighter shimmer shades up here in the Sigma. So there is a quick little side-by-side comparison. Tarte released an exclusive holiday set this year that had 3 different mini palettes, and this is the Elegance palette from that set. You got 3 palettes for $55. I will link the video where I'm talking about this palette up in the cards for you. I really like this. Again, we don't have formula dupes, and they're not dupes color story, right? It's not about dupes, it's just some comparisons. So again, with the Tarte, we do have the lighter matte shades here if that's something that you really like. And instead of like the kind of deep blackened brown and red here, we have this deep purpley matte. So if you feel like you would like things to lean a little more purple, but you kind of like the pinky color story, you could really enjoy this one. We do have less shades, of course, 1 less shade up here in the Tarte, but very pretty palette, definitely like similar vibes to the Color Story. I'm into both of these. Last but not least, let's compare it to the new Pat McGrath holiday palette for this year. The Pat McGrath is larger, of course, okay? It's larger, but we do have some similar-ish tones with some extra shades in here. Of course, we have those blue shades, things like that, but we do have some pinky shades here, a little more like peachy pink over here. That brown is more of a true brown, but we do have some beautiful sparkly shades and some beautiful formulas in both of these palettes. So hopefully it's helpful to see these comparisons. Now I want to jump into the 5 looks. For this look, I'm going to start by priming my eyes with my Melt Vanilla eyeshadow base, and then I'm going to take this brush from BK Beauty and Nikki LaRoche. This is the N13. It's a really great brush for the crease, and I'm taking this gorgeous red shade called Virtual Romance all in my socket, but I'm bringing it up pretty high. I want this to be a more sultry, vampy, dramatic date night type of look. I gotta say, I am shocked, shooketh, shaken at how pigmented I'm finding these shadows. Like, very pleasantly surprised. I'm just running the shadow that's left on the brush under the lower lash line. Being a little bit messy, it doesn't have to be precise. It can be kind of blown out and more effortless looking. After that, I'm going to use this Singe Beauty EO2. This is a small blending brush, and I'm going to go in with the shade Offline Future Matte, and I want to use this to go on my lid, give me some depth, and then I'm going to blend up and out just to kind of deepen up the outer corner, wrapping it a little bit under the lower lash line, just in the outer corner, kind of like in this outer V, C, whatever you want to call it area. I'm using a clean brush just to kind of like diffuse things. No extra shadow or product on my brush. This is a BK Beauty 202 brush, so it's a little tapered but very fluffy. And I'm just gonna make sure I don't have any harsh lines and that everything is kind of seamless and smoked out. Now I'm going to grab my R106 from What's Up Beauty, and I'm going to apply the shade Digital Pink Crystal Glow. This is going to be our lid shade. I'm not going to cover up the dark shade that we put in the outer corner, but I am going to put this on my lid. I'm even going to take it up above my lid so that when my eyes are open, you can still see this. With my deep set eyes, I really want to be able to see this really pretty shade from all angles. So I'm going to pack it on, and then I'm going to lightly blend. In my lower waterline, I'm going to use the shade Alkaline from Urban Decay, and then I'm going to go in with my R101 brush, and I'm going to use this to put Pillow Talk Beautyverse Party Topper on my inner corner. Here is my finished look. I really love it. I think it's fun, easy, I'm into it. I'm priming my eyes with Sigma Persuade for this look, and it's going to be a very, very simple look. I'm using my BK Beauty 201 brush. I'm going to start with Cyber Rose Future Matte. I'm putting this on the lid, the crease. I'm just kind of putting it everywhere, not taking it up all the way to my brow bone, a little lower than that, but basically blending everywhere. I'm taking my Singe Beauty EO4, and I'm going to go in with the shade Digital Pink Crystal Glow. This is going to go on my lower lash line. I want this to be very light, very blown out, very, very subtle. Using the same brush, I'm going to go in with Pillow Talk Beautyverse Party Topper. Just a little bit of this, not wetting my brush, nothing. I want to tap this on my lid, tap it on the inner corner. I'm really using this as a topper, just tapping that on so that we have that kind of sparkle topper, very subtle. I'm going to put on a little bit of burgundy liner in my lower waterline. This one is from Patrick Ta. And then I'm going to coat my lashes with a brown mascara. This one is from YSL. It's my absolute favorite brown mascara of all time. All right, y'all, here is the finished look. I'm so feeling it. This is a very quick look, a very easy to do, very go out the door, which is perfect for me because I am actually running out the door. It's early in the morning. I've got a lot to do today. We're gonna hopefully go find a new Christmas tree because I really, really need one. I'm ready to decorate for Christmas. This is late in the year for me, so this makeup look is gonna be perfect for the day. For this look, I'm gonna start with an eyeshadow base. This one is from Melt. It's the shade Vanilla. I'm gonna take this kind of tapered blending brush from What's Up Beauty. This is their R103, and I'm gonna start in with the shade Supernova Smolder Future Matte. I make sure that my brush is is really coated with shadow on all sides of the brush. And I'm going to start by placing my brush on that outer part of my lid and kind of blending it kind of up and out. From there, I'm going to just take that shadow and put it kind of all through my socket, above, below. I want it to be really blown out. We're going to take it just a little bit under the lower lash line in that kind of outer corner area. I like to have this shadow kind of wrap around and be almost like an all over color. And I did not dip back into the palette to pick up this shadow. Now I'm going to use the shade Pixie Pink Crystal Glow. I have deep set eyes, so I can't really get the best application with the finger. My goal is just to kind of get the shadow on. I'm going to put it on, I'm going to bring it up higher than my socket to get that sparkle up there, and I'm just going to kind of drag it across without going all the way to the outer half of my lid. Then I'm going to grab my What's Up Beauty R106. This is a flat brush that's good for like shading or packing shimmer shadows on, and I will use this to blend that shimmer a bit to get in all the wrinkles and crinkles and like parts of my eyelid that I can't get to. I'm going to use the brush to do that for me. I'm going to put the Natasha Denona Macro Tech Eye Crayon in the shade Taupe in my lower waterline. I'm going to smudge that onto the lash line as well. And then I'm going to grab a What's Up Beauty R101 brush, and I'm going to go in just to the shade Offline Future Matte. I want to use this dark brown matte and keep it close to the lower lash line, but I'm going to work it in kind of with that liner to give myself like just a little bit of smokiness. I'm going to go back in with the same brush that I used to apply Pixie Pink Crystal Glow and put just a tiny little tap of that on the inner corner to give me some brightness. After that, I'm grabbing my Charlotte Tilbury mascara. I think this is such a good mascara. I've really been enjoying it. And this will be our look. Very simple, very easy, but the shadows are super pretty. Jumping into this look, I'm going to use my Sigma Persuade eyeshadow base. I'm going to use brushes from my favorite set, and we're going to start with the shade Virtual Romance. I'm putting this on the inner part of my lid up to my socket and the outer part of my lid and then out. Not gonna worry about blending too much right now. I just want to get this in here. I'm leaving the center blank or empty. I don't really care if I get anything there because we're gonna go over top of it with something else. I mainly just want to get the color concentrated on the outer and inner part of my lid. Okay, I'm gonna leave the blending of this shade here for now because we're gonna go in with a different color to kind of buff this deeper shade out. Now I'm using Futuristic Pink. This is a matte shadow, and I'm grabbing a brush from my set, this really wispy one, and I'm just gonna kind of buff and blend things out, just very lightly throwing the shadow on. I don't want to blend too far out because I really like to like smoke my looks out. I like to have them really kind of undone, and I don't want this to get too dramatic. So you may be thinking this is dramatic, but I'm really trying to keep it like lower to my lid and not as far out. Next, I'm going in with Rose Gold Realm. This is a crystal glow shadow, and I'm gonna put this on the lid, but just in the center. I'm gonna leave the outer and inner part of the lid matte and just put this right in the center and diffuse it. I'm gonna grab a black liner and put this on the waterline and just a little bit in my lower lash line. I'm grabbing the shade Cyber Rose on my little smudger brush, and I'm going to work this into the lower lash line. I'm going to smudge it with the black liner to make things a little bit dramatic there. I'm going to highlight my inner corner with a tiny bit of Pixie Pink Glow. I'm just kind of pressing this on rather than really like packing it, rather than blending it. I just want to do light pressing. And then once I have no shadow left on my brush, I'll kind of blend and diffuse just a tiny bit. And I'm using this fluffy brush, so it's not really gonna pack the shadow on, you know? It's just gonna kind of place it and fluff it. So we're gonna leave it here, and now I will start on my other eye using my Persuade base. Now I'm gonna use the shade Offline, this Future Matte shade, with my BK Beauty A502, and we're gonna do the same placement we did on the other eye, same shape and everything. I'm putting this on the inner part of my lid and up, and the outer part of my lid and up. This is such a beautiful shade, and it's so easy to work with. If you were looking at this palette and you felt like maybe this shade was a little too like intense or intimidating, it is really a nice formula that's, I think, user-friendly. Using my A502, I'm going to go into Supernova. This is a smolder matte, and I'm going to buff and blend things out, being very, very light-handed. I want to do black liner on the waterline again, just like we did over here. Using my What's Up Beauty R101 and the shade Supernova, I'm going to buff in my lower lash line. Using my What's Up Beauty R110, I'm going to go into the shade Digital Pink and put this on the center part of my lid. Oh, I'm so into this color combo. Like, that is making me so happy. I'm grabbing my BK Beauty A502 and going into Pillow Talk. This is a Beautyverse Party Topper. I'm gonna throw on a black liquid liner and some lashes and be back. Here is my finished looks. This is look 4 and 5. I would love to know, which look do you like better? Do you like the more pinky pillow talky look, or do you like the more dark sultry with a pop of pink look? I would love to know. I had a lot of fun with this palette. I definitely think these formulas are really nice. I'm impressed. This is something different for me from what I've tried from Charlotte Tilbury. Of course, it's her classic Pillow Talk pink that we're seeing all the time, but I had fun with this palette. They are definitely like luxury eyeshadows, so they're not giving like my favorite indie brands, like that intense pigment or anything like that. Definitely not as intense as like Natasha Denona, which is a favorite brand for me, but these do feel like really nice, really beautiful luxury shadows. I like that she added this version of the cream to powder. I like the sparkly shades, and I hope that I was able to show you like what you can do with this palette if you're into it. I had fun playing with it. I keep feeling off because like straight hair, who is she? I never take the time to like really straighten my hair, but I'm feeling it and I'm feeling my eye look. And if you love eyeshadow palettes, if you love new makeup, stick around, check out some of my other videos because I talk about makeup all the time. I love makeup. I'm constantly reviewing new things, and I would love to know your thoughts on this palette.